Open meeting, declare quorum. Introduction of members and guests. Not being any, I see. Discuss and approve or disapprove the minutes of the regular meeting December 9th. I have 2 corrections on that.
All right, let me pull them up here and I will get that fixed. Okay.
Okay, the first thing is I made the mistake of saying it was a regular meeting of the Historical Commission. It was not. It was a special meeting.
Right.
So it's not a regular scheduled quarterly meeting. So
Okay.
we need to fix that. And then the other change is under Executive 2, under Committee Report number 6, Executive 2. There will be a presentation on December 28th in Commissioners Court. It should be now January 11th. We just did that. So just for the record, I think we need to amend it to make sure it's the proper date. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, this is a record of what we discussed at the meeting. We can put in there, it was noted that it actually didn't happen, and that this is the new date that it is expecting to occur on. It's not something we discussed in that meeting, so
Okay.
It wouldn't really necessarily be a minutes of that meeting.
Okay, well, we have already done it. It was Monday's report. So, however, I just want to make sure that for the record we have a good date.
Yeah. We can add that in old business today on today's agenda to record that it actually happened on the date.
That's a good idea. That's why I keep you around. Okay. So having said that, do we have a motion to accept the minutes as amended? And we need you to state your name and whoever seconds states your name. I have a motion.
Okay, I'll make that motion, and I'm Sandy Garrison.
Yeah.
And
I second it, Roberta Shear.
Yeah. And Linda's on with us. Good for her. It needs to unmute. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, the treasurer's report. Linda, you're muted, but you're on. How do we unmute her? There she is. Linda.
There I am.
There you are. You're up, honey, with the treasurer's report.
Okay, well, I have the final printout from the end of December.
Yes, that's what we need.
And we spent $8,643.26, leaving a balance at the end of the year of $1,356.74.
That's perfect. Let me make sure.
1356.74.
Okay, very good.
And according to the auditor, we have no expenses thus far this month. So we're starting with a fresh new $10,000 budget.
Well, I have 2 that have been submitted that are dated in December that will be paid in January.
Yeah, but they probably will be on this next report.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they'll come out of that 1356.74 amount.
Okay.
Yes.
Are they carrying that forward, Colin?
They will until the first week of February.
Okay, good. Then that's great. They'll have that 1356 covered.
I have a note that by next Wednesday at noon, invoices have to all be turned in.
Okay.
Okay. We need a secretary. Colin's been doing this for 2 years. Roberta, I'll says she's good, but she is busy and would like someone else to. Roberta, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's pretty much what we
It's-
talked about,
Yeah,
I believe. So it would be nice if we could have someone step up to the plate and do that. Um, 4 meetings a year isn't gonna kill anybody, but Colin's been great. And he's still got another 2 years on his term, and I don't want to just beat him up. So I've sent out an email to all members, and yet nobody has really just jumped on it. So I don't know. I'm not hearing anything back. Maybe I just can appeal again. If Colin doesn't mind just trying to stay with this until I can find a viable replacement, and I will work hard at doing that. Because bless your heart, I know you're busy, got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, if he wants to trade places and become treasurer and I'll be secretary, I just can't do both.
I got enough budget. I got enough budgets to keep track of.
Well, Linda, if Sandy Bridges is coming back on the commission, and she did do treasurer before, perhaps we can. She
But
has.
for her to take over the treasurer,
Yes, ma'am.
then next meeting I'll take over secretary.
That would be wonderful.
Get a motion from everybody to make sure that's okay.
Well, it's really an appointment at this point.
Okay,
So, it's, if you'll do it, I approve.
okay, Colin, you'll stick with
Me
it
too.
for me?
Yeah, I'll get it done today, and then yeah.
And then I'll take over next time. And
Okay.
then we'll talk Sandra into taking over the treasurer spot.
Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. I know Colin does too.
Yes.
We approved the treasurer's report, or did we already do that?
I'm sorry.
We approved.
I'm getting a lot of feedback, and it's really hard to hear. I'm not sure who it's coming from, but so I may have to request everyone mute themselves and only unmute when you're ready to speak or something and say stuff, because it's really hard to hear. Sorry to interrupt.
It's just Linda that I'm hearing very, very poorly. I don't know. Maybe she needs to get a little closer to the mic.
But I'm hearing a lot. There's like something's feeding back on my end. So.
Like paper's crushing. Yeah, I hear that.
I hear that too, but I don't know where.
I am too. I put mine on mute because I thought it might be me, but it's not. There's a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Okay. Well, everybody's muted. Sandy, do you want to mute yours, and then I'll go forward, and then when you can unmute, because you're going to be up here pretty quick.
Okay, am I muted now?
You are not muted. You are good
Yeah,
to go.
because there was a mute with a line through it, and I hit it, and now it just says mute. It should.
Right. If the line's through it, you're muted. If it's not, you're unmuted.
Okay. Under executive comments by Chair Laura Fox is a new member, and she's joined us. And so I have contacted, she was going to try to make it on tonight, but she had some paperwork she had to do for Bel Air, and thought hopefully, she said she could try to get on. We'd like to welcome her. But she is the only one that needs to do the Open Meetings Act report so far. So she knows about it. I've given her the link to take the test or take the thing, and so that should be So anyway, we do welcome her. Under preservation and public policy, Mark, unmute yourself, please. Talk about the Klein building for us. What you've
Sure. I'm sure everyone's seen the pictures on Facebook, but I don't think that really does justice to really what looks like the effort that's gone into getting underneath it and getting it raised up. It looks really it's pretty fabulous, frankly. And I think it's caught a lot of attention around town. I've seen a lot of comments on Facebook, and all of them positive that I've seen anyway. But it sure looks like it's as close as it can be to the next step, which I guess, Betty, you were saying earlier before everyone got on that a little more clearing needed to be done at the destination site.
Yes. They have to
Okay.
put, it's going to go up on pier and beam. From what I
Right,
understand,
right.
correct me if I'm wrong, Pam, but I believe it's supposed to be raised up on pier and beam. So they have to do that before the building itself can sit on top of that.
Well, whoever selected the team to get it moved, there's also been a lot of compliments on the selection and on the group that's doing the moving that I've noticed.
Yeah, Lily Wilkerson is RAM, and so she
Right.
has moved the Brule Johnson House before, which is now the Friends of the History Center. And so she's quite a pro, and she garnered a team out of, was it Austin or San Antonio, I believe. And
San Antonio.
yes, and so she garnered a team, and they have offered a lot of services to her to help her with this move. So she's awesome, and the biggest hurdle was raising it, not so much moving it, but raising it. And they were raising it like
I can see why to get underneath it like they've done without it getting unbalanced and perhaps just cracking it down the center. It seems like quite a feat. I don't know anything about it, how they pulled something like that off, but it sure is impressive.
Well, there's no rebar in that concrete pad that
Right.
it's on. So yeah, it's an amazing feat. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate you monitoring
Sure.
that. I know we'll have some more information from you later, but we did.
I'll keep going by.
Great. The thing that we did in court Monday was the packet of information that Pam and I don't know, Cheryl and so many other people put together. It's called a dossier on the Klein building itself. And consequently, there's photographs inside, outside, and it's all documented because it is an architectural, historic building. So THC requires us to put together this kind of a dossier, and it was presented to myself and to Iris Sanchez, who is a Aransas County librarian, as well as to RCA, which is Rockport Center for the Arts, and the Texas Historical Commission will all have it. So what's nice about it being in the library, it will be public and open to the public to view. So that's very, very nice. And it was presented to us in court on Monday. Anything else, Mark, that you want to add about the Klein building, or is that pretty much it?
That's all I've got.
Okay, great. Thank you. Coconut Bay Fishing Pier was kind of exciting. I think I reported last time that Richard Prince from Russell Marine, who were the people who were demolishing the old pier, I call it the old pier. It's always been a pier to me, but it was the original Coconut Bay Bridge. It was built in 1930. And so Pam and I went over to the yard, got our cars pretty messed up, but we went over there to the yard and talked to Richard. And he got he got so excited and he came over to the History Center because he said, we can do a replica, a small little replica of the pier. And he jumped on it, and he and his team put together a 5 to 6 foot miniature replica of the fishing pier. And it's got the original pylons and the decking and the side rails, the navigation district sign, and a light. And so you need to go see it. It's over, they delivered it. It didn't cost any money. They did it all on their own volition. And we're excited about it. And Pam has already said that she had somebody come in to the History Center and say, I'm going home to get my rod and reel, which I think was great. So anyway, that's kind of an update on preservation and public policy. Does anybody have anything else to add to that? Okay, moving on. Okay, Miss Sandy Garrison, you're up. You got to unmute, darling. You got to unmute. Take your little mute thing off.
Now?
There you go.
Okay. My symbol is the opposite of what it should be. So like there's a line through it, and when I hit it, then, oh well. I don't know. So my machine is backwards. What can I tell you? I'm going to try to make this as short as I can and explain it because it's very detailed and very complicated. But basically, what's going on is the state level THC, Texas Historical Commission, has 4 major meetings a year, quarterly meetings. And they're going to have a meeting February 2nd, 3rd, when they actually make decisions on this issue. And what the issue is they're proposing to change their rules so that they can go in and remove a marker if it, quote, is a public concern, if there's a valid reason to tear it down or move it. And that's raised all kinds of opposition, as you can imagine. I think it probably has to do with, as you know, the movement everywhere to take down markers and take down statues and that kind of thing. And at this point, all I've been able really to wade through is there are about 3 nice long opposition letters that explain the viewpoint of all the various historical people that are opposed to this change. But what I got from it is basically, even though they've revised it a little bit to involve the county historical commissions more, we still will have no power under this rule when it goes through. There will be a public meeting on Zoom, January 20th. And I can, if you just email me that you'd like to have it, I can get the link to you for that. And that's a THC to discuss the proposed changes and let input come in from the public, basically. And that's what I know about it at this point. I don't think it sounds like they're going to back down, but we'll see what happens.
The thing that I saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sandy, is that they're really focusing on the markers located at courthouses.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that, but that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's where most of them were placed through the years, I'm
Yeah.
sure, in the vicinity of courthouses.
Yeah. So John Strothman asked me yesterday about the markers that he has that will go back up at the new courthouse. Because that's where we had to move them when we tore the old courthouse down. So he was talking about that. And so we're going to have to do some due diligence on the markers that are there. And Pam, weigh in on this because you know exactly the two. One is a dedication to what, firefighter or somebody like that. No, unmute. Okay. We can't hear you.
That's not a historic marker. The only historic marker is dealing with the courthouse itself.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't see really an issue. I think it's all about
Right.
architecture in history. I mean, I can pull it up, but I don't have it in front of me.
Well, there are other memorial signs there, but they're not official markers. For instance, I know there's one in memory of one of the Mills family who was killed in the line of duty. You know, one of the, gosh, don't get my generations mixed up, but you know what I mean, like maybe an uncle of Judge Burt Mills. I'm not sure if that's the right relationship. Killed as a very young man in the line of duty as a state trooper. So, but I don't know, as Pam said, I don't know of an official marker there except the one for the courthouse itself, which I wouldn't think has anything controversial.
Okay,
No.
I just couldn't remember exactly what
Yeah.
was there. I know one is a centennial marker, I believe. And then I'm not sure about the other one. I couldn't remember what.
No.
But if the memory of this guy and he owned slaves or something, you know, you never know. That's what I was talking about due diligence. But if it's not a historical marker, then we don't have anything to worry about, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, the only marker is, I'm looking at it now in the old marker guide, created out of the coastal portion of Refugio County, second smallest county in Texas. You know, 3 bays, Spanish explorers, Anglo colonization, supported industries such as fishing, agriculture, bird watching, and tourism. You know, that's it.
Okay,
That's what it says.
okay, very good. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate
Uh-huh.
it. Sandy, do you have anything else? I know that we need to probably talk to the Myerses as far as they are very willing to put a marker and maybe a second marker up at the new location of the Klein building.
Yeah, I talked to Bob Brinkman from the THC state office. We had a long conversation and he agreed, as we had talked at one of our previous meetings, that the marker needs to be a subject marker and that the application for it should go in the day that building is in place. You know,
Okay,
on its new foundation, new whatever site, whatever you want to call it. And the way that works out is, I think it's March 15th. I didn't review those dates, but it's like March. So hopefully they'll get that finished in the next month or so. And then we can be ready to submit our application on day one
okay.
of the time period when they'll consider it.
Okay, from a budget point of view, then I know that we had application fees already in prior to the foundry being, you know, lost. So are any of those fees going to be still applicable, or do we need to budget? Do we need to budget for a new application?
What do you know from the Mr. Myers? I can't say his name, you know, he's got the extra ES in there.
Yes, he does. They
Is
want
he-
it. They are willing. I think they're
Is
willing.
he willing to pay for his?
Yes, I
Okay,
believe so. But we have to touch base again. I don't want to assume that.
right. And I would assume then the county would still owe for their half of that marker, that new subject marker.
I think the situation is probably pretty confused. And
Yeah.
so I suggest that you start all over again and, you know, contact both the Center for the Arts and Myers, because I think in some of the negotiations, it was the Center for the Arts that was going to pay for it. But, you know, in truth, it's usually the owners and the commission. So my suggestion would be to go back to Myers, just like he was an ordinary homeowner, you know, and say, this is what we usually do. The commission usually pays the registration fee and then splits the cost of the marker. I think that's, you know, really the kosher way to do it.
Right, and I think it falls on him rather than the Arts Center. I think that the building's going to become his property as soon as it leaves that site of the Arts Center, basically. I mean, even during the move, as I understand it, it's his.
Once
It's
you
his
move off that property,
responsibility.
Once it comes off the property, yes, it belongs.
Yeah,
to-
that was my understanding. So the art center is out of the picture, I think, on marker fees, but Mr. Myers, oh, you're right, Pam. Need to start over with him.
Yeah, I think so.
Make sure he understands everything. Yeah. So,
Okay, great. Is that pretty much it, Sandy?
well, when are you doing like budgeting for your new year, or have you already done that? I'm confused.
No, we've already done it for 2021, but I want to make sure that we have everything covered because I keep a P&L kind of a thing, so I know what we've spent and what we haven't spent. So
Yeah,
because we borrowed we totally
right,
wrecked your
right.
budget this year. So I
I
don't
would
know.
hope, well, I would hope that we could get one additional marker besides the Klein subject marker. But I can't tell you what it will be at this point. So if
We
you're
talked about
considering,
sea gun. I know that was part of it, and I don't know where we are on the seashell shop.
yeah, both of those are kind of iffy, you know.
Yeah, well, Barbara Gertner was working on the seashell shop, so anyway.
Yeah, but that's finished. She's over with that. So
Okay,
anyway,
all right. No, the only reason I say budget is because if we have other expenses, I don't want to take away from what is allocated from the 2021 budget. So that's
You
kind of where
have-
I'm coming.
You have 2 markers allocated for the 2021 budget. I'm looking at it.
yeah,
Okay,
that's what I would suggest, you know, this Klein's building plus an additional one
okay,
to be determined.
okay. Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Finance and budget, we just talked a little bit about it. Linda's kind of not going to be involved in that, but we will. We have what we have spent. We have pretty much eaten all of the $10,000 up on our 2020 budget. A lot of it went to sesquicentennial that, and we took, the monument is done. And so that was a big hunk of Sandy Garrison's budget. So, but we have spent about over $6,000 on sesquicentennial for next year out of our commission budget. So we are right at, we're 75 cents in the hole as of today. So I'm going to go walk into the auditor's office and give them my 75 cents. So we have eaten it up. It is done, but we've ordered our commemorative, well, this is a sesquicentennial thing, but just for Pam's benefit, I don't know if she knows this right off. We've ordered the commemorative coin, and we've ordered flags, and we've ordered mugs. So for our sesquicentennial, but anyway, she's going to bring us up to date on that. But I just, under finance, I wanted to let you know where we were. Marker guide update, is Mike on? I don't know whether he is or not. You see him?
I never saw him come on.
I didn't either, but anyway, I can just tell you that Mike Probst has been diligently texting me with the finishing touches of the Barker Guide, and it will be launched at our January 30th event, which again, Pam will expound on here in a minute. But it's just almost done, and the front cover is our sesquicentennial logo. So we ought to get a lot of 15,000 copies is a lot of copies to be out there to kind of bolster what our 150th birthday. Okay, so that's a done project. Under collections, I have no report. Ad hoc, Sandy said she didn't have any update. I did have a call from Mariana, who is the Hispanic president of the San Antonio Cemetery south of town. And I don't know it's hard to follow her, but anyway, Sandy said, I'm not getting in the middle of that. There's so much stuff with property and anyway, there's a marker there. I think she wants money and it's tough. Then Miss Pam. Sesquicentennial.
You bet. Sesquicentennial is coming up, and the commission is largely co-sponsoring a lot of things related to that, as Betty's already related in terms of spending budget for merchandise that then we'll be able to sell to the benefit of the Sesquicentennial Fund. So mugs are been ordered and they're already distributed. Betty's been in charge of that. They're mugs for sale for $15 at the Maritime, the Chamber, the History Center, and soon to be at the Fulton Mansion. And then flags are ordered, and then a commemorative coin. So those were the three things that we knew we wanted to get while we had budget available. We're also meeting next week with the art teacher from the schools to have her run a contest for a design for the t-shirts. So those are going to be the things that we're really focusing on. But what's coming up is the kickoff event, which is going to be January 30th at 4:00. Okay. And we'd really like for as many people as can to be there. It'll be outside at the History Center, January 30th. That's a Saturday afternoon. And it will be outside. We'll be unveiling the commemorative monument, the Sesquicentennial Monument, which matches the Centennial Monument. So it looks really, really good. Betty and I went to look at the Centennial Monument because it was removed when the courthouse was demolished. And so we made sure that we got the measurements, the color, the style, everything that we could so that this Sesquicentennial Monument would match the other one. So the Sesquicentennial Monument is at the History Center right now, but when the courthouse is built, it will go in Celebration Plaza. So we're in touch with them about, we're in touch with the planning to be sure we've got a space for that, for both those markers, actually, Centennial and Sesquicentennial. So we'll have an unveiling of that marker, and then we'll have a premiere of the guide for historic markers, okay? So that'll be the first time they come out from the pilot and the commission. So that's a big project that the commission worked on all this past year, is getting that new marker guide ready. And so we'll have those to distribute, and then they go in the pilot, and then they go to key venues. So you said 15,000 of those guides, right, Betty?
Yes.
So that's a big piece, and really they stay out there for the next 3 to 5 years. We usually don't run out for a while. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. The other thing that'll be featured that evening at the History Center is this bridge, the pier. And so you can't miss it. It's dominant in the side yard. And we'll have some of the earlier historic posters about that, about the bridge itself. We could use a volunteer to help us with that afternoon. We want to do wine and cheese. We just need somebody to pick up cheese platters, and then charge it back to the commission, and the History Center will take care of the wine. Okay, as we're working on this, it'll be pretty simple, but it would be okay. Mark, thank you. I'll be back in touch with you on that. Appreciate it. Okay. Can you think of anything else, Betty, along those lines? We've been working diligently with the Chamber of Commerce on publicity, and Dan Probst has put together a PowerPoint program, and we'd like to take those out to civic clubs, neighborhood clubs, anybody you can think of that would want that kind of a program. Sandy Garrison, maybe PEO. Who should we contact there? Or could you contact him? Whoops, you're muted still. Oop. I'm sorry, Sandy, you're muted. There you go.
She's still muted.
Mute, okay.
There
Can
you
hear me
go.
now? Okay. Sadly, they're not meeting really for programs and things right now. I
Oh,
mean,
well-
they're doing the bare minimum in their meetings. Even though they're doing a hybrid of in-person and Zoom, it's still, it's just not what it used to be. It's a different order
Yeah.
of business and that kind of thing. Temporarily.
Yeah, it may all change, but this is one way that we're really eager to get the word out. So if anybody knows of any club or any organization that would be willing to listen, it's not a 10-minute program, I don't think. Do you, Betty? About 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty short, and it's mostly pictures, which, so there's not a whole lot of text. But
Right. It's just informing people about what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll pass the word on and see if the program committee can use it,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate that. Okay, I think that's pretty much an update without going all the way down the calendar. I hope by this January 30th meeting event that we'll have a preliminary calendar that'll be like a rack card size that will give you the dates and events that are going to be happening, because we do already have a calendar that begins with this January 30th startup and then goes through the spring and into the summer event. So I think we'll have that available. Yeah. Okay. I believe that's it, Betty.
Thank you so much. We need dates for the remaining meetings for the year. Colin, have you got a calendar? Can you pull up a calendar real quick and kind of give us a date in March? I assume this Wednesday works pretty good for everybody. It has for several years now, I think, at 5:15. So can we find a date in March that will?
So there's 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st.
17th looks good to me. What do you all think?
Okay.
Everybody's muted, so I'm not getting any.
Since it's gonna be so long until September, we have so many months until September, why don't we make it later in March, this particular time?
Okay, that's a good idea, Linda. So what do you
I would
say?
suggest we actually have it on the 31st,
Okay,
because we're gonna be going so many months
Yeah.
before the next one.
okay, and then September.
And September. Do you remember?
Uh,
Let's see
the-
here. We
the
have
15th, 8th or 15th, the 8th would be probably the best.
that would be the second Wednesday in December.
Second Wednesday in September.
Or yeah, September. Thank you.
In November.
November, probably the second one, which was the 10th.
10th.
And then a special meeting in December if we need it.
Right. Mhm.
And that would be what? We need
Uh,
to have that early because December's a Zoom.
yeah, how about the 8th? That's the second one.
That sounds good to me. Okay, is that something we have to vote on, Colin, or is it just record?
No, it's not really an action item.
Okay,
It's just kind of a general consensus. Everyone says, "Yeah, we can do it."
all right.
Okay.
And then under old business, we'll move on to that. We'll make the statement that the meeting was January 11th for a correction in that the Klein building.
Presentation of the dossier occurred on the 11th.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
And under new business, Real Places is a virtual conference, again, February 3rd through the 5th. Tropical Trails, I have no idea. I think Pat Russo said they meet once a month.
This meeting will be on the 19th, next Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
If
Tuesday.
anybody wants more information, I can give it. They're doing all virtuals, but so they're featuring about 4 or 5 different venues and talking about those. Actually, the depot will be one of the features.
Great. That's
Yeah.
great.
Going back before on old business, I don't know if we've already done this. Have we submitted a list to the Commissioners Court for their approval of anybody that's coming on yet?
No,
Okay.
no.
So we'll
but
need to get that, but done in January.
I can do it in January, or should we wait?
Supposed to be, according to the bylaws, I think it has to be done in January.
Yeah.
Back to court.
Well, I have to go anyway and give the fourth quarter, so I could do it all at the same time.
Should be.
January.
Betty, when you get that full list,
Mm-hmm.
everybody on the commission, will you send everybody a copy of it?
I will.
Thank you.
This is not on your agenda because I just really got it yesterday. THC's annual report, fun Pam, fun stuff. Anyway, what I need, and I will send an email out to everybody, is your hours. And the hours include your meetings that you attend here. Mark, your travel going down and spending time as so those are all things that are related to the history. And we've gotten this Distinguished Service Award, Linda, I think 12 years in a row.
At least 12 years now.
Yes. So it's something that we have to do, and there is a time factor involved and we have to submit this report to THC, and it's several pages long. It's not just one page, but we have to submit it in February. So I would request everybody try to get their hours to me by no later than the end of January. Roberta, do you have your hand up, or you just, well, you need to unmute. You're muted. I see her mouth moving, but I need you to unmute.
Oh, here we go. There we go. I don't know what you mean by hours. I don't know what that's all about. Hours for what?
Well, your service, your time that you have spent attending meetings, or you do a lot for the Fulton Mansion. I mean, I was so impressed with you and all the knowledge that you had with the Fulton Mansion the other day. You kind of blew me away. But anyway, it's the hours of everything that you do. Like if I code a commissioner's court on behalf of the historical commission, everything I do, I put in a lot of hours. But you're being somewhat new. You probably won't have many hours, but you have attended the meeting. And Pam, let me ask you a question. Does that mean service in any historical, whether it be, let's say, Friends of the History Center or the Fulton Mansion, or is it strictly commission?
We've always counted it for any history project that you do, just so that. So I guess, Roberta, I know you participated in that strategic planning, the other day. for Fulton. I don't know what else, whatever other research you've done, whatever in the name of history.
Yeah. Okay, are writing the history mysteries?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So anyway, if you all can make a note, I need those, I need that pretty quick. And so I can get started on the annual report, and I don't shortchange it, because we, like I said, the Distinguished Service Award is very, very significant, and the county loves, I mean, we have a great big check on the wall at the courthouse. So it shows people what we are doing, and that we're part of this community big time. So anyway, that's all I have. Is I can have we have to unmute on some of this. Is there any new business? There you go. Is there any new business to come before this meeting? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Ms. Linda, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
So moved.
All right, Colin. All right, guys, thank you so much. And everybody stay safe, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.